Howdy, folks.
Your attention, please.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hello, and welcome to Discoveryland. My name is Victoria, and I will be your guide on this adventure through yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. When you think about the ideal day at Disneyland, what does it include? Breakfast at the Carnation Cafe? A fast pass to Space Mountain? Or does it include a photo with Mickey Mouse? No matter how you ponder that perfect Disneyland day, I would be willing to bet that your magical day includes a majestic firework display above Sleeping Beauty Castle. After all, what better way is there to conclude a robust and complete day at Disneyland than with fireworks? Remember, dreams come true. Believe in holiday magic. Magical Halloween screams. Disneyland forever. That's just a partial list of the fireworks spectaculars that have graced the skies high above Anaheim, California. But believe it or not, Disneyland did not originally have a nightly fireworks show. In its first few years of operation, the park relied on its roster of parades to bring large-scale entertainment to Main Street, USA. That all changed in 1958 when Disney debuted the park's first firework extravaganza, Fantasy in the Sky. Before we get into the details of Fantasy in the Sky, perhaps we should consider why we like fireworks so well in the first place. Have you ever thought about it? Fireworks tend to mark special events. On New Year's Eve, fireworks famously go off around the world as the clock strikes midnight. In the US, we celebrate 4th of July with barbecue, beer, and fireworks. And when we go to Disneyland, depending on when we go, there's a good bet that we'll be able to enjoy fireworks there too. In a way, fireworks are the perfect culmination of the day's events. They allow us to finish celebrating with a bang, if you will. According to Dr. Daniel Glasser, neuroscientist and director of Science Gallery at King's College London, quote, "The sudden, bright moving sparks fireworks emit are compelling to watch and seem mysterious because we're so unused to light of that type traveling directly into our eyes. In general, the colors we see are created by light bouncing off the reflective surfaces of objects around us. As we encounter this reflected light all the time, we've become very good at unscrambling the colors in our brain, and as a result, anything different can seem otherworldly. This could be why other sources of moving light, like shooting stars and fireflies, are also thought of as magical." End quote. Indeed, a fireworks spectacular at Disneyland, combined with special effects and elements such as lasers, projection mapping, and emotional music, all culminate in an inspiring show that pulls at our heartstrings and fills us with wonder. In the previous episode of Discoveryland, focusing on Carnation Plaza Gardens, we touched on Date Night at Disneyland. Date Night was intended to promote the nighttime entertainment at the park, featuring a variety of live music and dancing. It was during this era that the fireworks were introduced at Disneyland. The fireworks for Fantasy in the Sky were launched from behind Disneyland. Cast members would ignite the shells with flares, sending spectacular colors launching into the night sky. From Main Street, USA, guests had a direct line of sight to Sleeping Beauty Castle. This provided the perfect visual setting for the fireworks, which flew behind and above the castle. As with today, a narrator would come on and announce the show and highlight certain aspects throughout. Red, green, blue, purple, orange, white, Disneyland fireworks provided a very unique experience to park guests. When the Matterhorn bobsleds attraction was opened in 1959, a connecting line to a low tower just west of the castle was added. To the delight of many children, Tinkerbell appeared near the top of the Matterhorn and took flight above the castle. And like any Disneyland fireworks show to come after it, Fantasy in the Sky was more than just a visual spectacle. The show also featured a soundtrack comprised of music from various Disney films, eventually incorporating a patriotic portion of the show as well. As time went on, some musical selections were removed and music from newer films and attractions was added in their place. While Fantasy in the Sky may not have been as flashy as the modern-day Disneyland fireworks shows, it provided a magical experience that for its time was unmatched. Between 1958 and 1996, Fantasy in the Sky warmed the hearts of millions of parkgoers after a long day at Disneyland. Then, after 38 years, the show was put to rest. In its place, new fireworks shows would periodically be created. But that would not be the end of Fantasy in the Sky. Since then, the show has returned from time to time to celebrate special events. In 2004 and 2005, Fantasy in the Sky was Disneyland's fireworks display for 4th of July. Between 2004 and 2007, it was used to commemorate New Year's Eve. And in 2015, it came back as a feature show leading up to Disneyland Forever, the fireworks spectacular created for Disneyland's 60th anniversary. Most recently, Fantasy in the Sky was used during Throwback Night in January 2018. Each time the show has returned, minor changes have been made to the music, fireworks display, or other special effects. Versions of Fantasy in the Sky have also been presented at Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris over the years. As of this recording, there is no indication that Fantasy in the Sky will return, but given its track record, it would not at all be surprising for the show to once again dazzle the skies above Disneyland.
Spacious skies, purple mountain majesties, from sea to shining sea.
So the next time you are at Disneyland and you are lucky enough to be taking in the splendor and magic of a firework extravaganza, remember that this tried and true tradition began 60 years ago with Fantasy in the Sky. That long-standing Disneyland tradition is the perfect way to cap off a magical, fun-filled day at the Magic Kingdom. Disneyland is an incredible place, and around every corner, whether you realize it or not, is some hidden history waiting to be discovered. I hope that you've enjoyed this trip into Discoveryland. Be sure to tune in next time for another adventure into the vibrant history of the Magic Kingdom. If you are listening through Apple Podcasts, remember to rate Discoveryland in order to increase its visibility. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Discoveryland Show and on Twitter at Discoveryland VC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland has now ended its normal operating day. We hope you've enjoyed your visit to the Magic Kingdom and that you'll be back with us again soon.